What's happening, fellas? It's your boy Hardcorn. We're back with more Tiger Woods PGA Tour 2005, and now today we're going to take on the man on the can himself, Arnold Palmer. And there he is, appearing out of a puff of smoke, in his prime and at his best, and he's coming here to kick our ass. Arnold is obviously the legend himself. He's the guy you see on the Arizona tee cans. And he's no slouch when it comes to the game itself, inventing some of the modern tricks and tips we see, and also just teaching everybody how to smash a ball about 300 yards. During the course of the battle itself, it's pretty hard fought. You have to go through a set of tiger-proofed holes from Tiger tees, and they're no slouches either. It's very annoying on some of these holes, and you really feel the distance away on the Tiger tees. Like drives you could usually make from the black tees aren't ones you can make from Tiger tees. But as I always do, I persevere with Mr. Greg, and we make sure we have a very decisive and immediate victory. Right now we're going to go to the green for 2, so we can get some sort of eagle and get ahead of him, because that's the thing you want to do as early and often as possible against on the Legend Tour is trying to get ahead as quickly as possible and holding it, because you cannot give them any sort of lead. Because when you're up against high-class people like this, they're not going to let up. He's got really high stats too. He's no Sunday Tiger, but he's also no slouch. There's a challenge version of him where you have to play doubles, where your partner is extremely weak, and you have to face Tiger Woods and Arnold Palmer on the same team. It's quite a difficult challenge, I'll say that much. I've yet to complete it, but that's for another day. And of course, Greg Coomer over there with the nice eagle. And on to the second hole of the Legend compilation. We're over here at Harbor Town. On the Tiger tees at Harbor Town too. So the fairway is even tinier than before. We're also on a raised platform as well. That's another thing about it. It puts you farther back, but also sets you further up. I do wonder if I'm able to change the tees, at least their height or something like that. But also there's a thing on the Legend compilations, is that we're playing this on GameCube. So when you play it on GameCube, the mini discs that it uses have a limited space on them. So when you want to go play a game like this, where courses are taking up an entire portion of a disc, and they're spread out across both, you are constantly having to switch discs all the time. And it's the most time-consuming part of this. It's probably the hardest part of these challenges. But as you can see here, I cannot let up on Palmer. Even when he fails to hit a good drive, he'll still recover like perfectly. Put the ball in stance and lie it about 2 feet away from the pin. Dude's scary. He didn't make his millions off of being bad, that's for sure. So that means I can't be bad either. Like every putt, I've got to sit there and consider, I have to keep tying him. I can't be short. I can't lose a stroke. Because you give him an inch and he'll take a mile. Though I wonder if it was a Jack Nicklaus, who Jack Nicklaus always wore yellow or goldenrod. That's why it ends up being called the Golden Bear and all that. I wasn't really keen on Palmer because so I don't know if this is just his signature green cardigan. These par 3s are really good for putting the ball in stance and trying to get as close as possible. That wasn't very good on my part, but I'm 13 feet away. This one I think is probably a really good example of how the putting system works against AI. Like, I'm at 13. Obviously, the further you go, the more chance you have to mess up and miss. There's certain thresholds where the skill intersects with the distance on the AI setup. Like Tiger Woods, Arnold Palmer, Seves Castroneves, or whatever his name is. They'll have a higher chance to be successful with their putts and drives when they're at a certain distance. Like right there, he was 4 feet away. There was no reason for him to miss. But when he starts, this is a really good hole because that on the green itself has a very dangerous lip on the back of it, which if you don't plan for it, you'll totally miss and then just send the ball spiraling down to the bottom of the green. No, he accounts for that, and he gets a par with it. I was legitimately impressed that the game would actually go do something like that. I managed to get a nice save there on the tree too. That was really good. And Arnold Palmer showing us up right there, bouncing it off the rough in the middle onto the fairway. That I'm very impressed. That's very impressive because I'm learning things right now. Actually, like I don't have to drive onto the second fairway. I can drive on the middle one and get on the green too, like that. I can use less club. Let the wind do the work. But that's not happening because I always just drive it here. It's my comfortable position. I got a really nice lie here because it got some carry down the hill. That's going to think about 4 feet away. Yeah. He's 7 feet away. And I'm thinking like, okay, he's like 7 feet, there's no reason for him to miss. But he overestimates the curve. And puts him 12 feet away. See, there you go. You miss and you go 12 feet down the pan. But no. I think he's going to get a bogey on this. He goes for a save with this par right there. He gets the stall on the side and rolls it in there so gently. Like, I'm looking at this thing and like, okay, my goodness. This man's insane. So now I don't get a caddy tip on that, so I've got to consider how this thing is going to work. I'm hitting uphill, and I'm also hitting to the side. So I've got to plan for that distance. By golly, I used my supercomputer and I figured that shit out. And here we are back again at Harbor Town. Once again, another fun course. I think this is Harbor Town 18th. One of my favorite places in the game. I love this hole. Something really special happens on this hole that really not only deflated the ideals I had about the Legend Tour, but also, well, you'll see. I can't really put into words just how funny and also saddening this is. Okay, see, he's now in the rough. He's got a tough time coming out of there. It's really tough. It's tall grass, and he's got 178 yards to go. It's a straight drive to the tee, to the pin too. And what does he do? Messes it up, gets it in the water. 1. Okay, we can come back. Take it for bogey. And what does he do? Goes from there, puts it back in the water. He's praying to God for some sort of help. He's going to need a little more than a prayer to get out of this one, because he's stuck in the swamp. Now I'm over here like laughing my ass off, wondering like, wow, this guy just nailed 2 strikes in the water. How could it get any worse for him? I'm going to win the hole now, regardless of anything I do. Nothing short of a miracle is going to save him. And so he prays for a miracle and it doesn't come, and he gets another water hazard. He's on his 8th shot. How terrible. I guess the AI can't really calculate for when he's on an angle, so he's thinking he can hit straight, but he just messes it up every single time. It's in the rough, it's in the brush, and he hits the shot limit. That right there was the moment where I thought, maybe they're not so good. You get them in an unfavorable position, they're going to start messing up really badly. Because this game has its fair share of bugs inside of it. Like I remember in the video where I had to fight all of Arnold Palmer's angels. There was a fat guy in there, and on one of the holes, like it was some sort of setup I did where it's like I had ball and stance or whatever, but I was using my 9-iron, and whatever distance I hit the ball at, whether it be like 20, barely tapping it back and forth, would be at 100%, regardless of what I did. Ball and stance and whatever, and it changes the distance and how far it goes at 100% full swing. It messed it up, and I had to take a par on that hole because it did it several times. It's done it several times actually after that too. I haven't seen much documentation over it, so I can only hope it's local to me. And Arnold gets his little dog going, and he starts playing really poor golf. Who knows? Maybe the AI itself is rattled that it just exceeded the shot limit on a hole. That'll get you down real bad. I hope it. It's supposed to be prime Arnold Palmer, but I don't recall Arnold Palmer too often totally striking out on a hole. He's playing from the sand. He's gonna get a really good lie out of that. Great recovery. Now while he's trying to recover, I'm gonna soar and get myself an eagle. Because anything short of that, he's gonna come back. And I'm deathly afraid of losing. Anything short of first place to second is second, yeah. And here we are back on Emerald Dragon. They didn't really format the card correctly. So Legend Compilation 4 butts into the number of hole we're on. It's kind of a lack of attention to detail right there. Like, you got a lot of nice stuff going on, but then you miss that. Kinda almost seems like it was an afterthought. But hey, I'm no typography expert or designer. I just know something's not so good when I see it. They say that's an eye for quality, but I'm just being a dick. And of course I hit it like I normally would on there, and I'm in the rough. I don't mind really, it's an insanely good drive. And then Palmer abusing terrain glitches, bumping himself up there, because you know, he's got to cheat to get up there. And then he pays for his insolence with a nice trip to the bunker. Dickhead. And here we are on the final approach. Go in there for the second shot to get on the green, send the third in for birdie. Got a 5-mile-an-hour wind just slapping us across the face. Well, that'll put us right by the pin. Gotta do everything in my power over there to make sure I don't send it into the grass. I didn't check correctly, but it's a slower green. Dang, if he aimed that a little bit more left, that would have been a birdie. Well, no reason for Palmer to miss, right? And there he goes, securing my victory. I could hit a par and it'll be okay. But par is not okay in my book, of course. And there we go, just a nice slow tap in. Winner, winner, chicken to dinner. This is a really good par 3 too. This is a hit it hard par 3 instead of a being accurate par 3. I almost feel like when I have those sort of holes where I should really be using a wood and then go later in stance. That's probably what they'd want you to do with these holes. Like, I could have gotten a lot more roll out of that, but I didn't. If I used a wood instead. Yeah, that's what he's doing there too, he's using a wood. It's a lot of power though. That sends him 53 feet to the pin. He's going to miss. Like every single character that gets out that far and has to putt, they're going to miss. And as I expected, he does miss. And then, right in the drink. Absolutely screws him and secures my victory. Yeah, it's a good save. It's a good save for bogey. I could get par and still make it. I could miss this. Palmer's had an illustrious career though. He looked like, in this form, he looked like he was up there in age. So I guess if he was a younger man, he'd be able to rake me over the coals and just pretty much beat me to death with those professional quality clubs. But we're just that little bit more professional. We have standards. And then we're going on the Tiger version again of, I think this is Sherwood Country Club. I'm not sure. As I always do on this hole, I go over to the right, try to snake it between that peninsula peninsula rough. Just barely missed that too. It kind of annoys me even looking back at it. That's a good drive right there. Sets him up right to go on the green. Probably gets that in there with a 8 or 9 iron. 8 or 9 iron. What am I thinking? That's probably like a 3 or 2. The man wants some distance, not lift. That's for if he was in my situation and he's hitting from the rough, but he also wants to get in close. That's an 8 iron situation right there, or a wedge. Sometimes I think about, you know, like what the names of these clubs are. You got woods, drivers, wedges, irons. I'd actually probably have to go look up some golf history as to why they're named like this. But frankly, I'm just more concerned about watching myself win again. That's a narcissistic trait right there. Good job, Palmer, tying it up. Not much further. Yeah, not much further now. You go back to Emerald Dragon. I guess he really likes that course. Well, I like it too. It's really, really good. It's very, very challenging, and it's also quite satisfying all the way through. This is, I think, what, the 4th hole from Emerald Dragon. It's just so good. I guess got challenging lies, good breaks, a lot of chances to come back and succeed, and also just sweeping visual beauty. Palmer with a good drive to follow me up. And here I am going to learn something. I didn't even consider there's a fairway spot right over there on the right. I always just hit it over the tree. Well, I hit it over the tree because I want to be as close to the pin as possible. Because getting an eagle on this hole is really tough. It's not even as tough as the one where you gotta jump over the gorge off the tee just to get eagle on there. Like, I'm 50 yards from the pin right there. I really wish there was a wind behind me so I could have gotten even closer. I think I've only gotten to the green on there like one time to actually putt. Every single time other than that to get the ball in for eagle has been a chip in. Like, I'm out here taking these like insane risks. And just thinking about, like, can I actually make this shot from here? Can I flop it in like that? There we go, we're 2 feet to the pin. I'm just gonna take it. I'm gonna tie it up for him. God damn, the Dragon is such a hard course to par 5. Fucking tough. But then I think this is a Harbor Town again. I guess we can see which one's his favorite, or at least one that he had got to design. Was he a course designer? That's something to think about. God, come on, there you go. Every time I see myself hit the rough and bounce it back onto the fairway, I think, like, man, that was way too risky. It was worth it. Just to squeeze those extra like 5 or 6 yards. Now he's gonna plop that mother up. Ball later in stance. Ooh. He's 10 yards away, but he's also in the bunker. High wall too. God, that ain't pretty. But as soon as I see him fall in the trap, that means I know I'm going to have the hole as a victory. gigantic billboard right over there on his head. Impeccable recovery, my goodness. A man with lesser stats would have missed the hole completely. Just hit it over the entire green. But a man with greater smarts can control himself and get it even closer. At least these couple last couple of holes aren't so hard. By God, they're tough. No assisting wins either. They really like to make sure you never have the wind that is behind you on a tiger-proof course. Everything is against you and you have to overcome the odds. He's over there with a very good drive. Can't even actually really do a professional walkthrough of this because, I mean, it's golf. You just, well, hit the ball harder and get smarter with your hits. But it's coming down to the wire. Arnold's down several. We've only tied and I'm at 7 up. This hole is going to decide the winner, and obviously it's going to be me. He has never had a chance for points, and he's about to lose his lunch. And over $1 million in winnings. We'll see that in a second. Oh God, that would have been a good eagle. Just fantastic stuff. Palmer's going for the putt for birdie. Let's see how he does it. 19 feet, he could have had that. He could have had me there. And now he sits out for par. Solid, respectable, a good game overall. And this is for the win. Thank you, Arnold Palmer, for such an interesting game. You actually provided a challenge in your Legend Tour. You ain't no Nicholas, but well, you're pretty much as tough as him. And we sealed the deal with the birdie, and we unlocked the Legend Compilation number 4. A fantastic win, 800,000 to our name. It's like winning a tournament in less time. And there we have it. That was Arnold Palmer's Legend Tour event. There'll be more of these coming for sure. I'm working on the Sevis version of it for sure. But as you can see there, we got a winning margin and the Legend Tour purse. You get 1.2 million out of that. That's fantastic. Thanks for coming, guys, and like always, I'll see you next time.